So I'm responding to the questions from my post. Let's jump right in. The first question was from James. Hey James, thanks for your question. How many pieces, what's the most amount of collage pieces I've used in one piece? Sorry, this is a little tongue-tied. I'm a little tongue-tied. So I've never counted them. I have roughly gone through the layers on my big pieces, and sometimes there's 100+ pieces in a complicated piece. I'm going to actually go through and I'm going to get you an exact number. Do I keep track of the pieces? I don't technically keep track of them. When I clean up the file, I usually make sure that the pieces are all clean and large enough file size so when I can pull them from other files that I know have the pieces that I want, and they'll be clean and high enough res. So that's question one. Question two from Kurt. Hey Kurt, a fellow artist. Are the pieces printed, then cut, scissors or blades to cut? Okay, so yes, my process is I use Photoshop and I digitize my assets so that I can work at whatever scale and size I want. That's a key piece of my process actually. Once I'm in Photoshop, I scale to the size that I want to work at. So if it's a 4-foot piece, I'll scale to work within a 4-foot square. And I print them out. I have a big printer in my studio, and I print everything on the big printer, and then I cut it up. And for the second part of that question, I got all my tools here. So various tools for different stuff. You can see I got glue all over some of these things. So these mainly are for big cuts, these box cutters. I don't use these too often. Sometimes if I have a really big piece, these can help just with big lines. Detailed cuts, this is your best friend, the X-Acto number 10. I love this one. It's sort of ergonomic, has a nice soft cushiony. That's a really good one for fine details. But honestly, these right here are my best friends. I like scissors, big cuts, medium and small and small. And then these guys are supporting for both of those. So that's what I use right there. Everybody's probably a little different in what they prefer. They all work. All right, moving right along. There's another question here. Okay, where are you getting all the separate images? Old books, magazines? That's a question I always get. So I recycle what exists in the world and I repackage it to tell a new story. That's the backbone of what I do as a collage artist when I was making photographs. That's sort of what I love to, sort of the process I like to explore. Whenever I'm out and I see something I like, I take a picture. So they come from my pictures, pieces of my art that are photographs that I made or portraits I've taken of people that work their way into the art. So I photograph them or I make them. Old magazines, Time Life magazines are in my worked their way into my art a lot lately. A lot of old botanical books. Online when I'm searching for something, and my newest bucket to pull from is to generate stuff that I can't find in AI when it works, and if it's the right thing, right part that is the right thing when it works. So images for collages come from many places. Online, books, photographs, and an AI sometimes. So that's that question. This is the last one. Do you come up with your concepts first, or do you let them come together as you go? Okay, that's also a good question. And the answer is I work both ways. Many times I know what I want to make. The exciting part about collage is that even though you know what you want to make, you don't always find the exact piece. And sometimes the piece that you picked, you put it on the paper and it moves the direction, it changes the direction of the piece. So there are times when you get exactly what you want. There are times where you thought you were doing something and you ended up another place. And then there's just times, I think all of us artists sometimes just sit down and just start making something and just see where it goes. Like, what color feels good today? You know, what theme are you thinking, you know? So that definitely is like for me for playtime when I'm trying to stay creative and disciplined in making art. Sometimes I'll just sit down and just start working on whatever feels right. But I'm very much, I stand behind the idea of pre-conceptualizing, pre-visualizing your work so that you know exactly what you're doing as you head into your deeper into your final stages of your art, that you have the direction worked out, and it can still have some serendipity and can change along the way. That's always your choice as an artist, but I like to know what it's going to look like before I go into making the final piece. So there we go.